I don't usually post stuff like this, but I genuinely need to get this out somewhere. I won't drop names or locations, but here's what happened, or what is happening, because it still doesn't feel like it's over. I've been married to my wife, Lena, for just under 6 years. We met at a birthday party for a mutual friend. She was confident, quick with sarcasm, and had this way of making every guy in the room turn their head. I like that she picked me. We moved fast, moved in within 6 months, married a year later. At first, things were fine. Not a fairy tale, but solid. We worked hard, made decent money, traveled a bit. Normal stuff. But about 3 months ago, something shifted. It started subtle. She'd come home late from work and blame traffic, which, sure, happens. But she stopped telling me things. Little things. Like where she went for lunch, who she had coffee with. She used to fill those details in automatically. Now it was like pulling teeth. And her phone. God, her phone. Always face down. Notifications suddenly off. Bathroom trips with the phone glued to her hand. I'm not dumb. I noticed. Still, I didn't want to be that guy. The paranoid husband. So I brushed it off. Until the Saturday, she told me she was going shopping and left without her usual enthusiasm. Something didn't sit right. I waited 15 minutes, then decided to follow her. That day changed everything. But not in the way you'd expect. She really did go to the mall. I saw her browse through Zara, then Sephora. Nothing shady. I felt like an idiot, standing there behind a sunglasses rack, spying like some deranged soap opera character. Then she walked into a boutique. One of those trendy places that looks like it barely turns a profit, but somehow survives. She wasn't in there more than 10 minutes. She came out smiling. Not fake smiling. Like, genuinely glowing. That was the first red flag. The second? She wasn't carrying a bag. She told me she bought shoes. The boutique sells scarves and perfume. I didn't say anything that night. I just watched her. She was texting nonstop, giggling at something on her phone like a teenager. I checked our shared bank account. No purchase from the boutique. No charge at all. Not even from the mall. And that's when I knew someone else paid for it. I started paying attention after that. Every time she said she had errands, I'd find a reason to leave too. I never followed too close. Just enough to see where she went. Always the same place. That same boutique. And always around the same time. She never came out with bags. Never came out empty either. She always came out different. I haven't told anyone yet. Not even my best friend. Because the truth is, I still don't know who it is. But I swear to God, whoever she's meeting in that boutique isn't just selling scarves. And I'm going to find out who he is. After that Saturday, I couldn't shake the feeling. I kept replaying her smile as she walked out of that boutique. That wasn't a just bought something cute smile. That was a someone made me feel wanted smile. So I started planning better. If I was going to catch her in a lie, I needed more than half guesses and gut feelings. The next Thursday, she said she had to run to the post office and would grab some groceries after. I knew where she was going before she even touched her car keys. I left 5 minutes after her, parked across from the boutique, and waited. She went in like clockwork. This time, I got out of my car and crossed the street. I didn't go inside, not yet, but I stood right next to the cafe beside it, pretending to text. I angled my body to see through the glass door. She was already talking to someone. A guy. I could tell by the way she tilted her head. The same way she used to with me when she wanted something. But here's the thing. I couldn't see him. He was standing behind a display shelf. I saw movement. I saw an arm. Dark sleeve. Slim build. Could have been any guy. She laughed. Not loud, but enough that I could hear it from outside. The boutique wasn't that big. Then she leaned forward. Like, close. Too close. One of her hands brushed his shoulder. I froze. My blood felt cold, like it stopped circulating. He stepped back into the shadows near the changing rooms. She followed. I waited. 14 minutes. She came out, adjusted her hair in the mirror near the exit, then walked out like nothing happened. No shopping bag. Just that same glow on her face. She got into her car and drove off. I stood there, staring at the boutique door. Something about that place was wrong. It wasn't just retail. It was cover. No normal customer acts like that in a store. I couldn't go in then. It would have looked suspicious. But I made up my mind. I'd go back. Alone. Ask questions. Pretend I was shopping for my wife. But first, I checked the boutique online. Instagram. Yelp. Google. And that's when it got even weirder. The boutique had no employees listed anywhere. No manager name. No photos of the owner. Just a few generic posts of outfits on mannequins. The last post was 2 months old, but the store was always open, always staffed. The next time Lena said she was meeting a friend for coffee, I told her I had a meeting at work. I kissed her goodbye, then went straight to the boutique. I walked in. Empty. Quiet. No customers. Just racks of overpriced clothes and a strong scent of lavender. Then I heard footsteps from the back room, and someone, a man, called out, "Be right with you." His voice was calm, friendly, maybe too friendly, and something about it made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. He stepped out from the back room wearing a black turtleneck and a smug, practiced smile. Early 30s, maybe. Clean-shaven. Well-dressed. Not in the way someone dresses up for work, but like someone who is the brand. He looked at me like he already knew why I was there. I tried to play it cool. "Hey," I said. "I'm looking for something for my wife. Her birthday's coming up." He smiled wider. "Of course. What is she like?" I had no idea how to answer that. I didn't come here to talk fashion. I came here to catch this guy off guard. "She mentioned she liked something in your window," I said, gesturing vaguely. He tilted his head. "The scarf." I nodded. "There are a few versions," he said, walking over to the front. "We keep most of the inventory in the back." I followed him slowly, eyes scanning the space. There was a dressing room curtain, barely open. Inside, a chair, not a stool, a chair, plush, like something from a lounge. Too comfortable for a store dressing room. He caught me looking. "Trying something on?" "No, just curious." We circled back to the front. He handed me a folded scarf and paused. Then he looked at me, really looked at me. "You seem familiar. Have we met before?" I laughed a little, keeping it light. "Doubt it. I'm not really a boutique guy." He smiled. "No, not here. Somewhere else maybe. Your wife? She shops here?" I nodded. "What's her name?" I paused, and then lied. "Julie." He didn't flinch, just nodded, like he believed me. But something in his eyes changed, maybe just a flicker. "She has great taste," he said. "Tell her I said hi." I left 5 minutes later with the scarf in a branded paper bag, my accidental alibi. Back in my car, I stared at the boutique. He knew. That look he gave me. He wasn't just some clueless retail worker. He recognized me, even if he pretended not to. And that chair in the dressing room? I've seen one just like it, in our bedroom. The one Lena bought last month, claiming it was for reading. She never read. I drove home, my head pounding. When Lena got back 2 hours later, I handed her the scarf. She blinked. "What's this? You said you liked it. From that boutique." She froze for a split second, just enough for me to catch it. "Oh, right. Thank you, babe. That's really sweet." Then she hugged me, like she was trying too hard. I hugged her back. But in my head, alarms were going off. She'd never mentioned the scarf. She didn't even look surprised. She looked worried. And I knew then, he wasn't just a random employee. He was part of this. I just didn't know how deep it went yet. The next week, I couldn't focus on anything. Work felt like static. I'd sit through meetings and couldn't remember a word anyone said. My thoughts kept drifting back to that boutique. That chair. His face. Her lie. I wasn't just suspicious anymore. I was obsessed. So, on a Tuesday afternoon, I made up an excuse to leave work early and drove straight back. No plan. No script. Just rage simmering beneath the surface. This time, I didn't knock. I walked in fast, head high, hoping to catch him off guard. The place was empty again. No customers, no music, just the faint scent of her perfume. Not lavender anymore. Something sweeter. Familiar. He emerged from the back room like he was expecting me. "You again," he said, smiling. "I forgot to ask last time," I said. "Do you do returns?" He looked down at the scarf bag I was holding. "We do, but not on gifted items." I didn't blink. "That's fine. I want to exchange it for something more appropriate." He narrowed his eyes slightly, then nodded. "Follow me." He walked toward the back, not the dressing room, further. Through a narrow hallway I hadn't noticed before. No employees-only sign, no storage racks. Just a long hallway with a single black door at the end. He stopped. "I'm not really supposed to let customers back here." "I won't tell," I said. He opened the door and stepped aside. What I saw inside wasn't a storage room. It was a lounge. Low lights. Thick carpet. Another velvet chair, same as the one at home. A side table with 2 wine glasses. One was stained with lipstick. The other, half full. He watched me closely. "You sure you're here for a scarf?" I turned to him. What are you running here? He shrugged. A boutique. I stepped into the room. It smelled like her. Her exact perfume. The one she used to wear before switching a month ago. There was a photo frame on the table, flipped down. I picked it up. It was empty. People get bored of routine, he said casually behind me. Of the same house. Same dinners. Same faces. I turned around. You know who I am. He smiled again. I know what you are. I moved toward him, jaw clenched. If you're seeing my wife, I swear to God. I'm not, he said quickly. But someone is. He let that hang in the air like smoke. Then stepped around me and opened the door again. I'd leave now if I were you. I didn't move. He looked me in the eye, and for the first time, there was no smugness. There's more going on than you think, he said. And you're not going to like what you find. That Thursday, she told me she was grabbing dinner with Madison from work. Said it like it was no big deal, like she always went out with coworkers. She never did. Lena hated small talk. Hated office gossip. Madison wasn't even someone she ever mentioned before. I played dumb. Oh, cool. Where are you guys going? She blinked. That Italian place. The one with the wood-fire pizza. Same one we went to last month. I nodded. Nice. Love that place. She kissed me on the cheek and left at 6:12 p.m. I followed at 6:20. I parked across the street from the restaurant. It was dimly lit, the kind of place where couples lean in over candlelight and whisper secrets. The perfect spot for an affair, romantic, anonymous, quiet. I waited in the car for 10 minutes. She hadn't arrived yet. Then I saw her. She was alone. No Madison. She walked in and made a beeline for the back corner, where there was already someone sitting. I couldn't see him clearly, just his silhouette. He stood up when she arrived. They hugged. Not the friendly kind. The kind where hands lingered too long on the back. I got out of the car. Crossed the street. I didn't go in. I wasn't ready for that yet. I stood beside the window, just barely out of view, peering around the corner like a coward. They were laughing. Talking. She touched his hand on the table. He leaned in and whispered something in her ear. She smiled. I tried to get a better angle, just enough to see his face. But the angle was perfect for hiding him. I could only catch bits. Dark hair. Tan skin. No beard. Young. Maybe late 20s. That was enough. She lied. Again. It wasn't Madison. And it wasn't the guy from the boutique either, unless he'd shaved his face and lost 10 years in a week. That's when it hit me. It wasn't just one guy. She wasn't cheating. She was serial cheating. I backed away, heart pounding. My stomach turned like I'd swallowed ice. This wasn't one mistake. This was routine. A pattern. I got in my car and drove 2 blocks away to a gas station. I sat there for 20 minutes trying not to throw up. Then I texted her. Hope dinner with Madison's going well. No reply. Then, 15 minutes later. Yeah, it's great. She says hi LOL. I stared at the message like it was written in blood. That wasn't a slip. That was calculated. She was already in the lie and fully committed to it. I knew I had 2 choices. Confront her or dig deeper. I chose the latter. And what I found next made my blood run cold. That night, after she went to bed, I waited. Lena had a habit. She slept with her phone under her pillow, but every night like clockwork, she'd knock out by 11:30. Deep sleeper. Never stirred. Not even when I moved around. At 12:03 a.m., I slid her phone out, turned on Do Not Disturb so no notifications would pop, and walked straight into the bathroom, locking the door behind me. Face ID didn't work. She had reset it. I used her password. Still the same, her sister's birthday. I'd always told her it was too obvious. I started with the basics. Texts. Nothing weird, because she'd deleted everything. Instagram. Mostly clean. WhatsApp. Empty. But then I checked her iCloud backup settings. She had automatic backups turned on. I didn't even need to hack anything. I logged into her iCloud on my iPad with her credentials. She'd saved them once on our shared Mac, and iCloud remembered. It synced instantly, and that's when I saw it. A folder named D. Just the letter. Hidden in the Notes app. I opened it. Dozens of entries. Dates. Times. Places. Comments. Every one labeled D. Followed by a short description. D. Green sweater. Tuesday, 3 p.m. D. Behind the boutique. Sunday, 12:30. D. My place. Thursday. Took the wine. Each one included a paragraph. Sometimes it was about how hot he looked today. Sometimes just a one-liner like his hands always smell like cedarwood. Cedarwood. The boutique. That guy. But not only him. Other names appeared. S. Hotel lobby. J. After work, parking lot. T. Lunch break, quick but good. Each letter represented someone else. She was tracking them like trophies. I couldn't stop scrolling. Each note was like a punch to the chest. Lena had built a system, organized, efficient, emotionless. I was nothing to her. Just one constant while she rotated through strangers. But then I found something else, a video file embedded in one of the notes. It was labeled, D. Boutique Backroom, July 2nd. I stared at the play button. My finger hovered for a full minute. Then I tapped it. And there she was. Lena, sitting in that plush chair. Same one I saw last time. Smiling, laughing. And the camera panned as he entered the frame. I froze. It was the boutique guy. Except, not the one I met. This man was older. Beard. Different build. Not the same guy. I rewound it. Watched again. Nope. Definitely not him. Then who the hell was the man I talked to last time? I didn't sleep that night. I lay next to her, wide awake, pretending to be dead tired. Meanwhile, she slept like a rock. Peaceful. As if she hadn't just starred in a video clip titled D. Boutique Backroom. By the next morning, I'd made up my mind. I was going back. Again. But this time, I'd take a risk. No sunglasses. No hiding. I'd walk in and ask direct questions, and I wouldn't leave without answers. Around 1:30 p.m. I parked outside the boutique. The shop looked exactly the same. Pristine. Minimalistic. Harmless. But I didn't walk in right away. I sat and watched. For 20 minutes. 3 people went in. All women. Each one walked out within 5 minutes. Empty-handed, no bags, just smirking. At 2:03, I stepped out of the car. As I walked toward the entrance, I heard footsteps behind me. Fast. I turned around. It was a woman. Maybe mid-30s. Blazer, heels, sharp features. She looked like HR at a startup, polished and cold. She didn't say anything. Just smiled as she passed me and opened the boutique door first. I followed her in. Inside, boutique guy was already at the counter. The same one from before. Slim, black turtleneck. Watch that probably cost more than my rent. He didn't even look up. The woman walked straight toward the back hallway. No hesitation. Like she knew where to go. He still didn't look at me. Just typed something into the register. I finally stepped up to the counter. Hey, I said. He glanced up, finally, and gave me a smile. Back again. I have questions. He leaned on the counter, like this was a game. You usually get answers when you're honest first. I didn't bite. Who was in the back room with my wife on July 2nd? He didn't flinch. You're going to have to be more specific. The man. Older. Beard. He's not you. He smirked. Good observation. Who is he? Not your competition. I clenched my jaw. Then who is? The door at the end of the hallway clicked open. The woman in the blazer reappeared. Her hair was now let down. She looked different. Relaxed. Like she just left a spa or something much worse. She gave me a glance. Not surprised. Not curious. Just annoyed I was there. Then she whispered something to boutique guy as she passed. He nodded once, then turned back to me. You should leave, he said. Calm. Almost bored. This isn't the kind of place that gives closure. I stepped closer. Is this some kind of circus? Is that what this is? He chuckled. If you have to ask, then maybe you're not ready for the answer. I stared at him. So how many? How many men has she met here? He didn't reply. I leaned in. Or is it women too? Nothing. He just smiled. You're not the first husband to come in here like this. That hit me hard. I backed away slowly, heart thudding. Right before I opened the door to leave, I turned and asked, just tell me one thing. Is she still seeing him? The guy from July? His answer was immediate. She never stopped. I stepped out of the boutique into the late afternoon sun, dazed. My ears were ringing. My body felt weightless and heavy at the same time, like I was sinking while standing up. I didn't even notice the card on my windshield until I'd already opened my car door. It was tucked under the wiper, crisp white, perfectly centered. I stared at it for a few seconds before pulling it out. No logo. No company name. Just a single line of text in the middle, printed in clean black serif font. We should talk. You're not crazy. And below that, a number, local area code. I looked around the street. No one was there. I checked under the car, behind the bushes, across the road. Nothing. The boutique door was closed again, the windows dark. I got in and drove straight to a gas station 3 blocks away. I sat there for half an hour, just staring at the card. My thumb ran over the edges, flipping it back and forth, as if it might reveal more if I stared hard enough. Finally, I called the number. It rang twice. Then a female voice answered. Calm. Clear. You were at the boutique just now. It wasn't a question. Who is this? I asked. You can call me Mara. I hesitated. How do you know me? Because I was you. 2 years ago. My heart dropped. She continued. Your wife? She's cheating on you. I know that. And I know who it's with. I gripped the steering wheel. How? I used to be married to him. Dead silence in the car. You're talking about the boutique guy? I asked. A pause. No, she said. I'm talking about the man behind him. The real one. The owner. The one no one ever sees. I tried to keep my voice steady. Then who's the guy in the shop? He's just a front. Eye candy. Distraction. The real one operates from the shadows. He runs the place, but he doesn't sell scarves. I swallowed hard. So what does he sell? Her voice dropped to a whisper. Secrets. She hung up. I sat there in shock, the dial tone buzzing in my ear like a warning. I looked at the card again. Same message. Same number. And on the back, a handwritten note in red ink that definitely hadn't been there before. She's in deeper than you know. Don't go back alone. I called the number again that night. No answer. I waited an hour. Called again. Still nothing. But at exactly 11:48 p.m. I got a text from the same number. Meet me tomorrow. 6 p.m. Industrial lot off King and 8th. Come alone. I don't know what I expected. Maybe a coffee shop or public park. Not a half-abandoned warehouse district where streetlights flicker and every third building looks condemned. Still, I went. I parked near a rusted shipping container, engine running, nerves fried. She was already there, leaning against a dark blue sedan, arms crossed, expression unreadable. Mara looked like someone who hadn't slept in weeks, but could still break you with a glance. She nodded at me. Glad you came. I want answers, I said. You'll get them, she replied, opening her trunk. Inside were 2 thick binders. She handed me the smaller one. Your wife is in there. Page 43. I opened it, hands trembling. Photos. Lena. In the boutique. In the back room. In the parking lot. Getting into a different car. Not hers, not mine. Same car, over and over again. A silver SUV with government plates. What is this? I whispered. Mara leaned on the car. That's the car of the man running the boutique. The real man, not the one you met. I flipped to page 43. Lena again. This time, wearing a red dress I'd never seen before. Holding hands with a man. Same SUV behind them. His face was blurred in most shots, until page 45. There he was. Maybe mid-40s. Expensive suit. Cold expression. And one thing stood out. A scar across his chin. He doesn't use his real name, Mara said. But around here, they call him Vin. Why? Short for invisible. No one can pin anything on him. No paper trail. No business license. But everyone knows what the boutique really is. I swallowed. Which is an access point. It's not about the act itself. Not really. It's about control. Power. These women, they're not just cheating. They're getting involved in something bigger. Most don't even realize it. I flipped pages. Photos of other women. Notes. Symbols. Transaction logs. This is insane, I muttered. She looked at me, dead serious. It is. And it gets worse. Because some of them, the ones who go in too deep, don't come out the same. What do you mean? I mean your wife might already be past the point of coming back. After I met with Mara, I didn't go home right away. I parked in an empty supermarket lot and just sat there. What the hell had I gotten myself into? This wasn't just about cheating anymore. It felt bigger, like Lena was wrapped in something I couldn't even see the full shape of yet. But I knew one thing. If I confronted her too soon, she'd shut down. Or worse, run. So I decided to set a trap. Something simple. Something quiet. Something that would show me where her loyalty was and how far she'd fallen. I got home around 8:30. She was already on the couch, watching some dumb reality show like everything was normal. She looked up and smiled. Long day. Yeah, I said. Exhausting. I went through the motions, kissed her, changed, ate leftovers. Then around 10:15, I said I was heading to bed early, had an early meeting. She nodded, kissed me goodnight, and stayed on the couch. That's when the test began. I didn't go to bed. I turned the lights off in the bedroom, pulled the door halfway shut, and crawled quietly into the closet. Yeah, like some pathetic spy. My heart was hammering in my chest the whole time. I left the door cracked just enough to see out. The living room was dark. Quiet. For 30 minutes, nothing. Then, at exactly 10:54 p.m., I heard her phone buzz. Not once, 3 times in a row. She got up immediately. I saw her silhouette in the hallway. She wasn't walking, she was floating. No hesitation. Just a quiet, determined pace. She went into the guest room. That was weird. We never used it. I slipped out of the closet, barefoot, and tiptoed down the hall. The guest room door was mostly shut. I leaned in. Her voice was low, but I heard every word. No, he's asleep. I made sure. Yes, same time tomorrow. Don't worry, I'm being careful. My blood ran cold. There was a pause. Then a whisper. I miss you too. I didn't breathe. Then, the scarf? He gave it to me. Yeah, I know. Idiot, right? She laughed. Quiet. Cruel. I backed away before I did something stupid. Back in the bedroom, I slid into bed like nothing happened. She returned 10 minutes later, climbed in beside me, and wrapped an arm around my chest. Sleep okay? She mumbled. I didn't answer. She was asleep within minutes. I stared at the ceiling for hours, every second confirming one truth. Mara was right. Lena wasn't just cheating. She was reporting back to someone. The next morning, she left early for brunch with coworkers. She kissed me on the cheek like usual, said she'd be back in a few hours, and walked out the door wearing that same red lipstick she only wore when she was meeting someone else. I waited 5 minutes. Then I went straight to the guest room. It felt different now, not like a forgotten extra room, but like it meant something, like it was used. I started slow, checked under the bed. Nothing. Then I opened the closet. That's when I noticed it, a small wooden box on the top shelf, pushed to the back behind some old blankets. I pulled it down. It wasn't locked. Inside were a few small things that meant everything. First, a burner phone. Cheap. Prepaid. Fully charged. I powered it on. No passcode. I opened the messages. The first number listed had no name, just a series of texts going back weeks. The newest one was from last night, sent minutes after she returned to bed. He didn't wake up. He's still clueless. The reply? Good. Stay close. Keep him predictable. I felt a chill crawl up my spine. Keep him predictable. Like I was a mark. A puppet on strings. Next to the phone was a small notebook, black leather, pages stiff from overuse. It wasn't a diary. It was a ledger. Dates. Times. Initials. Payments. Some entries had numbers next to them. 300, 450, 700. And always next to one initial, V, were stars. 5 stars. Always 5. I flipped through the pages and froze at an entry labeled July 2nd, V, backroom, full session, scarf as decoy. My hands went cold. That scarf? The one I gave her, thinking I'd caught her? It was part of the setup. I kept reading. August 12th, V, brief, husband suspicious, plan shift initiated. I didn't realize I was shaking until the book slipped out of my hands. Plan shift? What plan? I looked around the room again and spotted something else. A folded note taped under the desk drawer. It was short. Handwritten. If he finds this, initiate exit. Do not engage. Vin will handle it. Exit. Exit me. I backed out of the room and sat down on the edge of the bed. My wife wasn't just having an affair. She was in something organized, coordinated. And Vin, whoever he really was, had a plan for me. I didn't go to work that day. I didn't eat, didn't turn on the TV, didn't check my email. Just stared at that burner phone and notebook, still sitting on the table like 2 little time bombs. At 3:40 p.m., I made a decision. I wasn't going to play detective anymore. I needed help. Real help. And if this Vin guy was half as dangerous as Mara made him sound, I couldn't handle this alone. So I drove to the nearest precinct. I asked to speak to someone about an ongoing domestic safety concern. I didn't want to say the word affair or cheating out loud. Not yet. I needed someone to listen without brushing it off. They brought me to a small interview room. A detective came in. Mid-40s, thick mustache, tired eyes. Looked like he'd seen everything. Name tag said Detective R. Lennox. I laid it out. Not everything, but enough. The boutique, the burner phone, the note, the man named Vin. When I said the name, Lennox's expression didn't change. Not exactly. But he blinked, just once, and I caught it. You said? Vin. He repeated slowly. Yeah, I said. That's what he goes by. He leaned back in the chair. Where'd you hear that name? A woman. Her name's Mara. She said she used to be married to him. Or someone connected. Lennox rubbed his face, like he'd aged 10 years in 5 seconds. Jesus, he muttered. Then, you still have the phone and the notebook? I nodded. They're in my car. He stood up. I want to see them. 5 minutes later, we were outside. I handed him the box. He opened the notebook first, flipping pages fast. Then slower. Then stopped. This is the third time I've seen something like this, he said quietly. What do you mean? 3 men in the last year have come in with similar stories. One filed a report. The other 2 just disappeared. No follow-up. No contact. Nothing. I felt like the air was being sucked out of my lungs. You're telling me other husbands just vanished? He nodded. And the one who filed a report? His wife left him the next day. No warning. Packed up. Gone. No trace. Her bank accounts were wiped. Car sold. Phone dead. It's like she was erased. I swallowed hard. Is this guy Vin even real? Oh, he's real, Lennox said. We've never caught him. Never even seen a clear photo. But his name floats around in weird places. Blackmail cases. Bribery rings. Grooming operations. Quiet stuff. Quiet because everyone's too scared to say it out loud. I felt sick. What do I do? Lennox handed me back the box. Take this and go home. Act normal. If your wife suspects you're onto her, she'll bolt. Or worse. You do not want to be on the other side of Vin's cleanup crew. So that's it. I asked. I just do nothing? No, he said. You start recording everything. Every text. Every movement. And if you see her meeting with anyone new, especially anyone with a scar on his chin, you don't confront. You call me. He handed me a card. And then, just before walking away, he said, whatever you think this is, it's bigger. That night, I couldn't look at her the same way. She made spaghetti, joked about work, even poured us wine. I played along, smiled, nodded, said all the right things. Inside, I was screaming. She had a burner phone for reporting on me, a ledger full of coded notes and dates with other men. And now I knew about Vin, a man who cleans up husbands who dig too deep. After dinner, she left her phone charging in the kitchen while she went to shower. Her real phone, the one she used around me. She never left it unattended before. I waited until the water started running, counted to 30, and picked it up. No passcode change. She was getting careless. I went straight to her messaging app. There was one open thread, labeled Work Group Chat 3. Except it wasn't about work. Not even close. It was her, someone labeled V, and a third contact named Only L. I scrolled up. Most of the messages were deleted, but one stuck out. Sent this morning, after I'd gone quiet post-boutique. Lena. He's acting different. Cold. I think he went through the drawer. V. Then he's close. Let me handle it. L. Be careful. He's not like the others. That was 3 hours before she smiled at me over dinner. Another message came in, right then. V. Initiate final phase. Tomorrow night. I'll be there. I backed away from the phone like it had just bitten me. Final phase? Tomorrow night? I locked the screen, placed it exactly where she left it, and walked to the bathroom door. The water was still running. She was humming. Like everything was fine. I sat on the couch, numb. If what Lennox said was true, then tomorrow night, I wouldn't just get dumped. I'd get disappeared. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in the living room, staring at the front door like it might open at any moment. At 3:12 a.m., I texted Mara. Me. It's happening. Tomorrow night. Final phase. She replied in less than 2 minutes. Mara. Get out now. Leave. Don't even pack. Me. I can't. She'll know. She's watching me. Mara. Then fake it. Act like nothing's wrong. But whatever you do, don't be home tomorrow night. The next morning, I met Lennox in a coffee shop near his precinct. I brought the phone and showed him the chat. He read it twice. Then he looked up and said, She's prepping for extraction. What does that mean? I asked. Removal. Either she disappears you, or makes it look like you left her. Vin handles the rest. Can't you arrest him? Lennox shook his head. There's no evidence. And if he knows we're watching, he'll vanish too. We need to catch him in the act. So use me. He raised an eyebrow. Excuse me. Let me be bait. It was risky, maybe the dumbest idea I've ever had. But I wasn't running. I needed this to end. Lennox finally nodded. Okay, we'll plant surveillance. Audio, video. You'll wear a wire. But you can't break character, not for a second. Fine, I said. Tell me what to do. We set the plan in motion. That afternoon, I went home and acted like it was just another Thursday. I asked Lena what she wanted for dinner. She smiled like always and said, "Actually, don't worry about food. I thought we could just have drinks. Talk a bit." I said, "Sounds perfect." Inside, I was shaking. That evening, Linux's tech team came to my place under the guise of repairmen. They bugged the living room, the hallway, the bedroom, even planted a GPS in Lena's car. Then they handed me a tiny mic, disguised as a lapel pin. "If she makes a move," Linux said, "say the phrase, 'Maybe we should go for a walk.' That's our trigger." I nodded. And then the sun went down. At 8:40 p.m., Lena came out of the bedroom wearing that red dress again. The one from the boutique video. Her hair was done. Makeup perfect. She handed me a glass of wine and said, "To us." I smiled. To us. But my hand was already clenched under the table. Because Vin would be here any minute. And the final phase was about to begin. 8:57 p.m. She was laughing at something on her phone. I was pretending to sip wine, counting the seconds. My hand was still clenched under the table. I could feel the mic against my skin, the wire pressed flat under my shirt. Every breath I took felt like it might give something away. She leaned forward, voice soft. "You okay? You seem tense." I forced a smile. "Just thinking." She touched my hand. "About us." I nodded. "Yeah. I've been wondering if maybe we should go for a walk." She froze. Just for a second. Just long enough for the team listening on the other end to know everything had changed. Then she smiled again, too quickly. "A walk sounds nice." She stood up, smoothed her dress, grabbed her phone, and then 3 knocks. Not a doorbell. Not a knock and wait. 3. Sharp, deliberate. She glanced at me. "Just stay here," she said gently. "I'll get it." "No," I said. "I'll come." She hesitated, and in that pause, I saw the truth. She wasn't deciding what to do. She was calculating how fast he could kill me if I moved first. I stepped behind her as she opened the door. And there he was. Vin. Scar on his chin. Black jacket. Eyes like stone. He looked at me. And smiled. "You must be the husband." That voice. Calm. Deep. Empty. I didn't move. "That's me." He stepped inside like he owned the place. "I hear you've been asking questions," he said. I stared at him. "I've got a few more." He looked at Lena. "You were supposed to handle this." She looked down. I didn't think he'd. "Think," he interrupted. "You're not paid to think." That's when everything changed. Bang. The front door burst open. Flashlights. Screaming. Lennox was first through, gun drawn. "Get down. Hands where I can see them." Vin turned, calm, cold, and ran. But he didn't get far. 2 officers tackled him before he reached the hallway. Lena screamed. I stood frozen, watching it unfold in slow motion. Cops pulled Vin to the floor, cuffed him. Lennox was barking orders. One tech ripped open the shelf where the burner phone had been. Another grabbed Lena, pushed her to the wall. She looked at me, wild-eyed, crying, and screamed. "I was trying to protect you." I didn't answer. Because she wasn't trying to protect me. She was trying to protect him.